Reinforcements have arrived. Reinforcements have arrived. Mission saved.
Yes, sir. At once. Agreed. Affirmative. Affirmative. Affirmative.
Comrade, affirmative.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Very well.
Mission
Agreed.
saved.
Agreed. At once. Agreed. Very well. Agreed.
Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Awaiting very well.
Orders.
Very well. Very well. Very well. Agreed. Very well. At once. Affirmative. Affirmative. Yes, sir.
Mission loaded.
Affirmative. At once.
Waiting affirmative.
Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Yes, sir. Affirmative. At once. Affirmative. Very well. At once.
Mission
Very
saved.
well. Affirmative. At once. Yes, sir. Agreed. At once. Agreed. Very well.
Mission saved.
Yes, sir.
Reporting.
Yes, sir. At once. Very well. Very well.
Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Yes, affirmative. Affirmative.
Reporting. Affirmative. Affirmative. Affirmative.
saved.
Affirmative. Affirmative. At once. Affirmative. 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 Very well. Agreed. Agreed. At once. Of course. Affirmative. Very well. Affirmative. 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 At once. At once. Affirmative. Agreed. Affirmative. Affirmative. Agreed. Very well. At once. Affirmative. At once. Affirmative. At once. Affirmative.
Mission
Very well.
saved.
Affirmative. At once. At once. Affirmative. Very well. At once. At once. Very well. Very well. At once. Yes, sir. Of course. Very well. Yes, sir. At once. Affirmative. Yes, sir.
Unit lost.
Affirmative. Very well. Affirmative. Agreed. Very well. At once. Affirmative. Of course. At
Unit
once.
lost. Mission loaded.
Affirmative. At once. Agreed. Affirmative. Affirmative. At once. Affirmative. Affirmative. Very well. At once. Very well. At once. Agreed. Affirmative. Agreed. Agreed. At once. Agreed. Very well. Agreed.
Mission
Agreed.
saved.
Affirmative. At once. Very well.
Mission saved.
Very well. Very well. Very well.
Mission saved.
Agreed.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged.
Engineering. Affirmative.
Yes, sir.
Mission
Of
saved.
course. Affirmative. 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 Very well. Affirmative. Affirmative. At once. Agreed.
Mission
Affirmative.
saved.
Affirmative. Very well. Affirmative. Affirmative.
Mission
Affirmative.
saved.
Affirmative. At once. At once. Affirmative. Agreed.
Mission
Affirmative.
saved.
Affirmative. Agreed. Very well. At once. Affirmative. At once. Affirmative. At once.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Affirmative.
Affirmative.
Engineering. Affirmative.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative.
Mission failed. Mission loaded.
Yes, sir. Affirmative. Affirmative. Affirmative.
Mission saved.
Ready and waiting. Affirmative. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Of course. Affirmative. Yes, sir.
Comrade, acknowledge. Affirmative. Acknowledge. Affirmative. Acknowledge.
Mission loaded.
Yes, sir. At once. Agreed. Affirmative. Very well. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Of course. Very well. Affirmative. At once. At once. At once. Agreed. Very well. Agreed. At once. Affirmative.
Lost.
Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Unit
Acknowledge.
lost.
Affirmative.
Mission loaded.
Yes, sir. At once. Agreed. Very well.
Engineering. Affirmative.
Waiting order.
Unit
Waiting
lost.
orders. Affirmative. Affirmative. At once. Yes, sir. At once. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Very well.
Yes, sir. Affirmative. Affirmative.
Reporting. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Yes, sir.
Unit lost. New construction options. Training.
Engineering. Affirmative.
Unit lost.
Engineering.
ready.
Affirmative.
Training. Unit ready.
Yes, sir. Affirmative. Very well. Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Unit ready.
Reporting. Agreed.
Training. Unit ready. Training.
Acknowledged. Agreed.
Mission
Of course.
saved. Unit ready.
Affirmative. Affirmative. Very well. Ready and waiting. Of course. Affirmative. Affirmative. At once. At once. Affirmative. Agreed. Affirmative. Affirmative. Agreed. Very well. At once. Affirmative. At once. Affirmative. At once. Very well.
Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Comrade. Affirmative.
Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Awaiting orders. Very well.
Mission saved.
Affirmative. At once.
Yes, sir. Affirmative. Affirmative.
Yes, sir. Very well. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Agreed.
Engineering. Affirmative.
Repairing.
Awaiting orders. Agreed. Ready and waiting. Reporting. Affirmative. Very well. Affirmative. Affirmative. At once.
Yes, sir.
Awaiting orders. Very well.
Engineering. Affirmative.
Repairing.
Yes, sir. Affirmative. At once. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Training.
Acknowledged. Agreed.
Engineering. Affirmative.
Repairing.
Reporting at once. Ready and waiting. Of course. Agreed. Affirmative. Affirmative. Affirmative.
Unit ready.
Agreed. At once.
Engineering. Affirmative.
Ready and waiting. Very well. Affirmative.
Yes, sir.
Awaiting orders. Yes, sir.
Engineering.
Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Engineering. Affirmative.
Repairing.
Awaiting orders. Agreed.
Mission
At once.
saved.
Affirmative. Of course. At once. At once. At once. Affirmative. At once. Affirmative. Agreed. Affirmative. At once. Affirmative. Affirmative. Agreed. 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 Affirmative. Affirmative. Very well. At once. Very well. Affirmative. At once.
Comrade?
Reporting. Yes, sir. Very well. Affirmative. Awaiting orders. Affirmative. 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 At once. Very well. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Very well. Yes, sir. Very well. Agreed.
Mission
At
saved.
once. Agreed. Affirmative.
Mission saved.
Affirmative.
Training.
At once. Yes, sir. At once. Agreed. 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 At once. Agreed. Agreed.
Unit ready. Training.
Engineering. Affirmative. Affirmative. Affirmative.
Yes, sir. Affirmative. Ready and wait. Very well. Very well. Agreed. Affirmative. Affirmative. Very well. Very well.
Engineering. Affirmative.
Repairing.
Acknowledged. Of course.
Unit ready. Training.
Affirmative.
Unit ready.
Acknowledged.
Training.
Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Yes, sir.
Unit
At once.
ready.
Affirmative.
Engineering. Affirmative.
Preparing.
Yes, sir. Affirmative. Affirmative.
Preparing. Mission saved.
Affirmative.
Chronosphere charging. Reinforcements have arrived.
Vehicle reporting.
Awaiting orders. Agreed. Yes, sir. Reporting. Affirmative. Ready and waiting. At once.
Repairing.
Yes, sir.
Training. Unit ready.
Ready and waiting. Yes, sir. Awaiting orders. Yes, sir. Reporting. Acknowledged. At once. Very well. Affirmative. Yes, sir.
Chronosphere ready.
Yes, sir. Very well. Of course. Reporting. Yes, sir. Reporting. Very well. Very well.
Our base is under attack. Training. Unit ready. Training. Unit ready.
Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Mission
At
saved.
once. Reporting. Affirmative. Ready and waiting. Very well. Affirmative. At once. Agreed. Affirmative. 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 At once. Very well. Very well. Affirmative. At once. Yes, sir.
Mission
Affirmative.
saved. Cannot deploy here.
Affirmative.
Cannot deploy here.
Acknowledged. Yes, sir. Of course. Yes, sir. At once. Agreed. Reporting. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Affirmative. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Very well. Agreed.
Report affirmative.
Mission
Acknowledged.
saved.
Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged.
Cannot deploy here.
Acknowledged.
Mission failed. Mission loaded. Select target. Chronosphere charging.
Yes, sir.
Cannot deploy here.
Affirmative. Affirmative.
Cannot deploy here.
Affirmative.
Cannot deploy
Acknowledged.
here.
Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Cannot
Acknowledged.
deploy
Affirmative.
here. Mission failed. Mission loaded. Select target. Unit lost. Chronosphere charging. Mission loaded. Select target. Chronosphere charging.
Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Cannot deploy
Affirmative.
here.
Affirmative.
Cannot deploy here.
Acknowledged.
Cannot
Affirmative.
deploy
Acknowledged.
here. Cannot
Affirmative.
deploy
Acknowledged.
here.
Acknowledged. Acknowledged.
Cannot deploy
Acknowledged.
here. Cannot
Acknowledged.
deploy here.
Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Cannot deploy here.
Affirmative.
Cannot
Affirmative.
deploy here.
Acknowledged.
Cannot
Affirmative.
deploy here.
Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Cannot deploy here.
Affirmative. Acknowledged. 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 Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Awaiting orders. Awaiting orders.
Chronosphere ready. Mission saved. Chronosphere
Yes, sir.
charging.
Waiting order. Acknowledged. 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 Affirmative. Acknowledged. 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 Affirmative. 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 Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. 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 Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged.
Mission loaded. Mission loaded. Select target. Chronosphere
Yes, sir.
charging.
Affirmative. Affirmative.
Mission
Affirmative.
saved.
Affirmative.
New construction options. Building. On hold. Cancel. Mission loaded.
Acknowledged. Affirmative. 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 Acknowledged. Affirmative. 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 Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. 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 Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged.
Mission saved.
Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. 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 Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged.
Mission saved.
Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged.
New
Acknowledged.
construction options. Building. Chronosphere ready.
Ready and waiting. Affirmative. It is done. It is done.
Construction complete. New construction options. Building.
Time for a little five-finger discount.
Construction complete. Battle control terminated. New construction options. Building. Training. Construction complete. Training. New construction options. Upgrade complete. Primary building selected. Building. Building. Our base is under attack. Preparing. Unit ready.
Reporting.
Building.
Acknowledged. Acknowledged.
Training.
Acknowledged.
Construction complete.
Acknowledged. Acknowledged.
Unit ready.
Affirmative.
Training.
Acknowledged.
Building.
Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Prepare.
Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Unit ready.
Acknowledged. At once.
Our base is under
Yes, sir.
attack.
Of course.
Prepare.
Reporting. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Of course. Reporting. Ready and wait. Affirmative.
New construction options.
Yes, sir. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Affirmative.
Building.
Yes, sir. Affirmative. Affirmative.
Construction complete. New construction options. Preparing. Building.
Yes, sir.
Unit ready.
Yes, sir.
Base
Acknowledged.
is under attack.
Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Preparing. Building.
Yes, sir. Affirmative. Report. Acknowledged. 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 Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Mission
Affirmative.
saved.
Affirmative.
Unit
Affirmative.
ready.
Acknowledged.
Building.
Affirmative. Affirmative. Yes, sir. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Unit ready.
Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. 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 Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. 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 Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Mission saved.
Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. 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 Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. 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 Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Awaiting orders. Acknowledged.
Mission saved. Building.
Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative.
Unit ready.
Acknowledged.
Building.
Affirmative. Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Mission saved.
Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Unit ready. Building.
Yes, sir. Acknowledged.
Unit lost.
Comrade, waiting order.
Unit
Affirmative.
lost.
Affirmative.
Unit lost. Unit
Acknowledged.
lost. Building.
Reporting.
Unit
Reporting.
ready.
Awaiting orders. Acknowledged.
Yes, sir. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Construction complete.
Acknowledged.
Unable to comply. Building in progress.
Yes, sir.
Mission saved.
Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. 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 Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged.
Reporting.
Agreed. Very well. Agreed. Of course. Yes, sir.
Unit lost. Unit lost. Building.
Agreed.
Unit lost. Training. Unit
Acknowledge
ready.
once. At once.
Training. Unit
Acknowledge.
ready.
Affirmative. Very well. Yes, sir.
Unit ready. Building.
Affirmative. Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Awaiting orders. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged.
Yes, sir. Affirmative.
Yes, sir.
Unit ready. Building. Mission
Acknowledged.
saved.
Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged.
Ready.
Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Affirmative. Acknowledged. Acknowledged. Acknowledged.
Mission saved. Battle control terminated.